What is going on, guys? Welcome to another video. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is part 2 of the Turbo 370Z build series. For those of you that are new, this is just a series where I'm basically recording the process of putting a mid-mount turbo on my 370Z. This car used to be supercharged, so now I'm actually switching to a turbo setup. Now, the fact that I'm switching to a turbo means I need to do a few things before I can even put the kit on. A few of those things are done already. I did have to replace like my hard line here, the fuel hard line, because I actually stripped one of the bolts here. So I did that. And then I had to do other little things like take my long tube headers off because those are no longer compatible with a turbo kit. And what I need to do in this video is I'm going to put my coolant reservoir back on the car. It used to sit right here, as obviously as you guys know, but with the Z1 kit, you have one that sits here, and there is a charge pipe that runs all across the middle here. So I had to create my own little bracket here, as you can see, to hold the OEM reservoir again. And that's kind of the main thing that I'm doing in the video. Another big thing too is probably why a lot of you guys are here, and that is I am installing the Z1 shorty headers. So you can see these headers are Cerakoted in the black Cerakote. These were done by Kingpin Coating here in Arizona. He did a great job, so definitely hit him up if you need any powder coating stuff. But they came out super good. I've let them sit for about 2 weeks, so they should be fully cured by now. And we're going to slap these on the car because these will be compatible with the turbo kit. I am very interested in hearing how these headers are going to make the car sound combined with the turbo, because these are supposed to be equal length, but I don't know. I haven't really heard too many sound clips of Z's and other VQs with these headers. So that will be going on today. And I have the reservoir here that I put all the hoses on already. We're just going to wrap that up and just put it right on the car. And that will be the two main things we're doing in this video. I will basically start to put the car back together to the point that all I have to do when the turbo kit arrives is just throw the whole kit on. I do have my cold side piping already. I have the intercooler. I have the wastegates, which actually should probably come in by the time I end this video. And at this point, I'm just waiting on the hot side piping and the turbo itself. So I think we're 2 to 3 weeks out, guys. I cannot wait to get this car back on the road. I miss it so much. It's been like this in the garage for almost a month and a half now, which isn't too long being considered how long builds can take sometimes, but I haven't had my car down for this long since I first bought it, so I'm definitely not used to it. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I will show you guys kind of the reservoir when it is fully installed, and then we will move on to the headers. All right, so we got the reservoir on, as you can see here, hooked up the lines. Pretty easy. Honestly, I just have to do the one that is down here. This is reverse, so I have to go down there, reverse the hose, and then put it in the port right here. So that was pretty easy. It looks pretty good, honestly. I got to put my titanium plate back on here. I have a plate here that covers the core support, so it doesn't look too bad. I like the black hoses. Not a huge fan of the Z1 logo kind of standing out, but I guess it matches this. So that is on. Next thing we're going to do is run that hose, like I said. We will kind of check for anything else that I might have left loose around here, because I was kind of doing a bunch of stuff around there. And then we're going to get to the fun part. We're going to put those headers on the car. These should be a lot easier to put on than the long tubes, because with these, at least there isn't the problem where the headers are just so long that you can't really hold them and put the nuts at the same time. If you're doing this by yourself, these are short enough that I could just put them on, put a nut real quick, and there's a lot more space between the runners, so it should be easier, knock on wood. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that right now. All right, so I'm gonna try my best to record under here because it is really tight, but you can see I got the passenger side header in. Honestly, the easiest way, at least if you're doing this alone like I am, is to go underneath the car. So right now I'm underneath the car, as you can see, right by the transmission. And you basically want to feed the header through this channel right here. Once you feed the header through there, get it up to where it actually lines up on the studs that are for the header studs. So, and then you want to put a nut on at least one stud, right? So you can see right there, I put one nut. That is all that is holding this header right now, but it is lined up with all the other studs. So now, when you have that single one on there, you can go on top and basically continue bolting the header. You will, in my experience, that nut right there and then the one that I'm going to have to put on that stud, you will have to tighten from the bottom, and then all the other ones you can actually get from the top. So I'll show you guys that. But yeah, I got this header in. Honestly, if you have two people, it's going to be a lot easier because one of you could be down here guiding the header from the bottom, and then somebody else could be at the top holding the header and helping you line it up. Because you can see, like, the header's tilted, right? So to get it to sit flush, I have to do that movement right there. But if it's only one, you only have two hands, you kind of got to play with it to get it to line up. So I'm going to go from the top now, try to get the other nuts. And yeah, unfortunately, I tried not to hit the header much on everything around here, but it's pretty much impossible. I mean, if you've done headers on this car before, you know there's very little room down here. So unfortunately, I'm kind of like messing up the coating on it, but it is what it is. Nobody's going to see these. At the end of the day, the coating is only for heat resistance. So yeah, we are going to go above the car, and I will show you guys the studs that I can get from up top. I have one more nut on one of the studs. I put that there because the header was kind of wobbling out. So now basically what I do, since I pretty much have done headers multiple times, and every time that I've done them alone. So next step is I take another nut and I pretty much try to get an angle for you guys, but I go to this stud right here and I basically am putting the nut on there, right? So you want to go as much as you can with your fingers. So mine's already stopping there. So you can see there's still a lot of thread. So what I do at that point when it stops is I use a little stubby wrench like this. This is a 1/4 inch one. But then I go and I put this wrench on that spot, and then I just keep going. I mean, make sure you get it on there, because if you don't, it'll come off. But you guys get what I mean, right? So in this case, I already see a problem. My wrench is going on crooked right here, right? So what I'm gonna have to do, since it's going on crooked, is I'm probably gonna have to use a ratcheting wrench instead of an actual ratchet like this. So that's what I'm gonna do. But that's pretty much the process, guys. I mean, I gotta put the other stud in there, because when I took the long tube headers, I did have some of the studs actually fall off, and I have them in my pocket now. So these kind of came off like this. So what I'm gonna do is just get the header snugged up against the block, and then just kind of twist this in there. So I have two of them like that. But yeah, I'm gonna go and tighten all the other ones up, and then I'll kind of show you guys how it looks when you're fully done.
3 days later.
What is up, guys? I'm hopping back into this video. It's been a few days since I last worked on the Z, but oh man, it has been quite the install, quite the big pain in the you-know-what to actually finish up these headers. They are done. They are on the car. As you can see, passenger side is on. And then if I come over to the driver's side, you can see the driver's side is on as well. And yeah, guys, I tried to record as much as I could, especially when it came to the driver's side, but there was absolutely no way that I was going to be able to install that header by myself. So I had my friend Ben come over. He was a huge help, helped me get it on. I'll explain to you guys how I did this header, but for now, I did leave off showing you guys a passenger header, and the only thing I want to say is this one is definitely easy. This is doable by yourself. It fits without disconnecting anything through this channel. But all you do, you put a socket on these 3 nuts right here. I'm using this setup. It's a Harbor Freight 3/8 long ratchet with a 14 mil deep socket, and that's it. With this, I'm able to actually put that socket on those 3 and tighten from this angle, and they're all tight at this point. You're also able to get that one right there. If you can see that I'm pointing at, you're able to get that one with the same setup. And then the 2 on the bottom, I'll show you guys what I used. I actually used this stubby 14 millimeter wrench, and I used the open end because I could not actually fit the ratcheting edge on the actual nut. So you go in there all the way up from the bottom and you tighten it as much as you can with this. I also use these called Crowfoot wrench set, and it's a 14 mil size. You're able to put this in on the 3/8 ratchet right here, and you're able to go from the bottom and get this on the nut and then just spin it as much as you can. It's a little sketchy with these, I'll be honest. The reason is because you can slip on the nut very easily, and you can potentially strip the nut, but it's the only way that I was able to do it. I didn't strip it, thankfully, so just be careful. You're probably not going to get it to the 22 foot-pounds that's recommended, but as long as it's tight on there, you know, if you have the majority of the nuts tight and you have maybe one that you were only able to get like hand tight, it'll be fine. You know, those headers are going to heat up. It's going to cause no issues. You'll be good. So that passenger side header is on. And then if you guys are also wondering, I did use these nuts. So these are 14 millimeter nuts. They are, I think, M10 by 1.25s, and they are flange nuts. So I got these at Ace Hardware, not sure, or like any hardware store basically, but they're flange nuts, so they're meant for this type of application. And the reason I use these is because they are a lot skinnier than the OEM nuts. The OEM nuts are a lot taller and have a lot more kind of, they're just bigger nuts overall. Like this is definitely a lot skinnier. And I was able to get a socket and stuff on these much easier than the OEM ones. So I recommend using these. They're still gonna hold just as tight because they have the grooves on the back. They're smaller, you know, they're good material that is meant for high heat applications like this. So that's pretty much what I used on the majority of these studs. But moving on to the driver's side now, let's go ahead and show you guys how I actually did this. The first thing that you have to do, no matter what, I tried to do it without it, but you have to do it. You take your wheel off, wheel sitting over there. But once you take your wheel off, you have to come down here, disconnect your steering shaft from that bolt right there. I think this is a 10 mil or 12 maybe. You take that off, and then with the pry bar, you go ahead and pry down here, and you can pop the steering shaft off. The reason you need to do that is very simple. I'll go under the car and show you guys right now. Okay, so the reason you need to take that steering shaft off is because of this. You can see with the steering shaft connected, which mine is right now, there is absolutely zero room to get this header in here between the transmission and the steering shaft. So when you disconnect this steering shaft, you are able to push it to the side and you get probably an extra 1.5 inches or so of clearance. Now, earlier in the video, I want to mention, before you take that bolt off, which is that bottom one right there, make sure you take a paint pen and basically mark the top piece, that right here that is going to come off, and the bottom. When you do that, that's how you ensure that when you put this back on, your wheel is still going to be straight. Because if you do this incorrect and you put it crooked, your wheel will be turned, but your actual wheels here will not be straight. So make sure that, your wheels here will be straight, but your wheel in the car will be crooked. So make sure that you mark this before you take that 10 mil off. Anyways, once you take that off, you're able to finagle the header through this channel. Like I said, I needed help. I could not do this by myself because I just couldn't force the header through here without seeing what was going on up top. So my buddy Ben came over and he was down here forcing the header through this way while I was up top grabbing it, trying to pull it up to where the studs are. You can see we definitely not damaged the header, but we scratched up all the coating on it. Honestly, from what I know, it is pretty much impossible to get this header on without scratching it like that, because it just simply does not fit through this channel, even with the shaft disconnected. So what you do is you twist it in a way where you can get about half the header inside where the studs are, and then the rest of the way you have to keep twisting as you're pushing on the header to go up. So the best way to do it, you have one person up top, you have someone down here, and you both try to move the header so that you can get it past this steering shaft. And yeah, there was no way that I was going to be able to film that, so I do apologize, guys, but they are on. It is possible to get these on without taking the motor out. I know some people say to just go ahead and pull the motor to do these types of headers. I can see why people want to do that because there is no space down here. I mean, this is a wide angle right now on the camera, but when I zoom in like that, I mean, look at how little clearance there is around this whole area with these headers. It doesn't fit, right? It can get on there, right? It's installed, but when you're trying to put it on, it's a huge pain. So that is what you do. You are able to get this nut right here from the bottom of the car. Just use a stubby wrench like I showed you guys earlier, And then on the passenger side, you can see this header is also on. And then those two nuts up there that you can see kind of poking from the bottom here, I was able to get those with the crow's foot wrench that I showed you guys and the little stubby. So from the passenger side, those two you can get from the bottom. From the driver's side, that one is the only one that you're going to be able to get from the bottom. The rest you will have to do from the top, and it is literally just going to be a mix of using a ratcheting wrench with the 14 mil socket and the stubby, right? All the other 5 nuts for this driver's side header are accessible from the top of the car. So this one, believe it or not, although it is a much bigger pain to get it in here, it is a lot easier to actually tighten those nuts than the passenger side. So that was my experience with it. But if you guys are wondering, and if you're watching this video, your one question is probably, can I install these without pulling the motor? Can I do it on jack stands? Yes, you can. Is it gonna be fun? No. Is it going to be easy? Absolutely not, but it can be done. So this video is proof that it can be done. They are on, and at this point, it is just time to wait for the turbo manifold, because it will be connecting right here, and then right here, and then the turbo will be sitting in this channel right here. So yeah. So I believe I did kind of show a peek of this earlier, and I didn't really mean to, but for those of you that stuck to the end of the video, check this out. I got my intercooler piping, at least some of the piping, powder coated in Illusion Cherry Red, and it looks sick, guys. I mean, honestly, the camera is not picking up the color, but in person, this color is so vibrant. It's such a deep red. It isn't necessarily like a bright red, like something like my radiator hose here, but it's more of like a deep cherry red. I mean, if I pick one up here, you can see there is like sparkle on it, but I mean, this isn't doing justice. It almost looks maroon on camera, but trust me, guys, this red is so nice. So yeah, I decided that I was gonna actually get these powder coated because honestly, I'm not a huge fan of the exposed aluminum look. That's kind of how this stuff comes from Boosted Performance, but I much rather do kind of a unique touch to it where you do the red, just because I have a red on the, you know, kind of red accents on the car. It is a Nismo too, and for those of you that don't know, I do have my Juke RS Nismo seats in the car, and this color actually matches pretty well to the color that those pipes are. So I think it all flows well, kind of the whole red theme that Nismo has going on. But I am going to change this hose out. This is kind of an eyesore, to be completely honest, when the charge pipes are actually on the car. I mean, I'll bring one right now. You can see when I put this kind of roughly in the space that it's gonna be, like that, you can see that there is a huge difference between the shade of red in that and the shade of red in this. So I'm going to be removing these, and I'm actually just going to be doing some black ones so that they can match the same ones that I have here on the reservoir. So I'll be doing this one in black, and then I'm going to be doing that one down there in black as well, just to kind of make everything match. This is all extra stuff that doesn't have to be done, but I'm really picky when it comes to this type of stuff. So yeah, when everything is installed, I think that red is going to pop against the gunmetal gray. But anyways, guys, if you stuck around, wanted to show you guys that a little bit. This is kind of a little bit of a preview of things that I'm going to be showing in the next video. There are things in the engine bay that you guys probably see that I didn't show earlier in the video, but that will all be covered in the next video. So definitely stay tuned for that. But if you are still watching this series, I appreciate you guys for tuning in to another one. You know, like I said earlier, these videos aren't necessarily the funnest to watch. They're kind of more like how-to tutorial videos for anyone trying to do this, but at the end of the day, I want to share the information for those of you that are going or deciding to do this eventually, because there just isn't a lot of videos out there showing how to do this stuff. But all right, guys, definitely go ahead and subscribe, comment, like, do all that. If you haven't, it definitely helps me. It helps the channel out. And yeah, thank you guys for tuning in to another video, and definitely stay tuned for the next part showing in this 370Z turbo build series. So I appreciate you guys for tuning into another one, and we will catch you in the next one.